Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I'd like to introduce Joel Sofranco. Joel Sofranco is a Staff Sergeant, the Marine Corps veteran. 3 years, Camp Pendleton, Parris Island. He has the Good Conduct Medal, Combat Action Cross, and Cross for Gallantry. And he has the Vietnam Civil Action Award. Also today we have sorry guys. No, I'm looking for okay, my good. We have Donald Jones from Abington Memorial Post 7069. Sergeant Donald Jones is a retired from United States Air Force veteran who served from 1968 to 1970. His tour duties include South Korea, Langley Air Force Base in Colorado, and the Air Force Base in North Carolina. I'd like to thank both of you for your service. Step up to the podium. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ladies and gentlemen, will everyone please remain standing? I'd like to have a moment of silence for Private First Class Harold Patrick Hannon. Private First Class Harold Patrick Hannon was born October 19, 1915 in Bellevue section of Scranton. He's the third son of the late Catherine and Albert Hannon. He was a Marine who died in combat at an invasion in Tarawa, Gilbert Islands, in Central Pacific on November 20th, 1943. I'd like to keep him in our thoughts and prayers, and his family and his friends, because we're going to have his Mass and his funeral this coming week. Thank you. Joel, stay at the podium. I'd just like to, before we get into the meeting, you know, we have a hero that came home this week, actually. You know, Private First Class Harold Patrick Hannon, you know, signed up to be a Marine and, you know, died during World War II. Well, you know, he had dreams, he had aspirations, he had family, he had loved ones, he had things he loved, he had food that he had food that he wanted to come home and taste. He wanted to kiss his mother on the cheek. Maybe he had a girlfriend. He never had an opportunity for any of those things, you know. And on November 20th, 1943, he died defending our country. And this week, and I want to bring up actually another person who spoke to me about it. This week is going to be his funeral. And I just would like for everyone to please come out for it. This individual, you know, gave his life. You know, this is something that, you know, I'm sure that they had some kind of memorial mass. I'm sure his parents did, or some kind of remembrance. But this is really a day to remember who this person was. I mean, this is a generation of all generations, and Mr. Hannon should absolutely be totally and utterly remembered, and he was a Marine. And at this time, I'd like to introduce my good friend Joel Sofranco to say a few words on behalf of the Marine Corps League.
Thank you, Commissioners. I just want to give everyone in the room some oversight of what that battle was about and what Private Hannon experienced that day. In the Battle of Tarawa on November 23rd, during World War II, the U.S. began its Central Pacific campaign against Japan by seizing the heavily fortified Japanese-held island on Bieto in Tarawa Atoll in the Tarawa Islands, in the Gilbert Island chains. There was 18,000 Marines landed that day, and they were expected to easily secure the island, but however, problems quickly arose. The low tides prevented the U.S. landing craft from clearing the coral reefs, and the Japanese coastal guns pounded to snagged vessels, and the desperate Marines gave up on trying to free the boats and waded to shore. They waded to shore in chest-deep water. And through the chest-deep water, the enemy was firing at them. Despite heavy resistance from the 4,500 Japanese troops dug in on Bieto, the Marines finally took the island after a bloody 76-hour battle in which both sides suffered heavy casualties. One of those casualties was Harold Hannon. a native son of Scranton. When Harold made it to the beach, along with a few other Marines, they hunkered down behind a wall made from palm tree logs. They were scared. One of the Marines with Harold looked at him and saw he was shaking. He assured Harold that they were all scared, but he didn't realize Harold had been shot and he was taking his last breaths. He was buried on the island in an unmarked grave. His family had no idea what happened to him except that he was killed in action. Until recently, when his body was discovered on the island. That was 75 years ago. Harold is finally home. The family has closure, and he will be buried at Cathedral Cemetery this Saturday. Commissioners, I'd like to thank you for your time in this matter and your concern. This is a very historic day as far as I'm concerned for the city of Scranton and Lackawanna County. One of our brothers are finally home, and I'd like to say welcome home, Harold.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, Joel. You know, he was affectionately known as Tiddly for his prowess in childhood game Tiddlywinks. Harold was among 1,100 Americans killed during a 17-hour fierce fighting in Tarawa. He attended Scranton schools and he enlisted in the Marine Corps on June 3, 1942. His awards include Purple Heart, World War II Combat Medal, Presidential Unit Citation, Marine Corps Good Conduct, the Pacific Conduct Campaign Medal, World War II Victory Medal, and he was a marksman with a pistol, and he received a badge for that. Like I said, I think that the community should come out. They should absolutely come out to the Mass, and if they're able to stop at the actual funeral home. This man was a real hero, and it really matters. And a good friend actually called me and left a message, Joan Hawanitz, who attends all of our meetings, and she's a veteran herself, and she said, please make sure that this is mentioned. And we were going to be mentioning it no matter what anyway, but Joan made sure that she wanted to make sure that Mr. Hannon was not forgotten. And I know he's not going to be, because of the people in our community. They care about our veterans and
Absolutely.
their service. And I'd just like to let everybody know that the viewing is going to be scheduled for this Friday, January 12th, 4 to 7 at Regan Funeral Home, 1900 Pittston Avenue at Scranton. Please, if you can come out, that would be great. And the Mass is going to be celebrated on Saturday, January 13th at 11 a.m. at Nativity Church on Hemlock Street. So if you can make either or both, I think it'd be great. This is his homecoming. He's going to be buried alongside of his mother, and I'm sure that he missed his mother when he was about to go onto that island, and he was thinking about her and his prayers and his thoughts and his family. So, yeah, I mean, this is a good time for us to remember our World War II vets, especially one of ours that just literally made it home.
Yes, absolutely.
So.
Well said.
Thanks, Joel.
Thank you.
Commissioner Cummings?
Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for Commissioner for recognizing such an important gentleman in our and hero. So thank you, and I look forward to seeing and being there.
Good. Commissioner Notarianni?
Thanks for coming in, Joe, and thanks, Joan, for making sure that it was brought to our attention.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joel. This time I'd like to bring this Wednesday, January 10, 2018 Board of Commissioners meeting to order at 10 after 10 a.m. I'd like to make a motion for the reading of the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a roll call?
Commissioner Terriani?
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes. Proclamation presentation 18-0017. Commissioner Cummings?
We have Evie Jones Hair Care. Is that on? Ev?
That's him.
Ev Jones, I apologize.
That's him.
So it's Everett, Bonnie and Everett. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Thank
How
you.
got
It's
started.
50 years we've been in business.
Wow.
I came out of the military in 1967 and started my own business. Prior to that, I was with my dad on Market Street in North Scranton for 6 years, served an apprenticeship there. And I come from the third generation of barbering. And 50 years have gone by so quick that it's hard to believe I'm here. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity of being here. Probably wouldn't be here without my sidekick, who's been with me for 45 years. A lot of prominent people have come through our place. A lot of regular people have come through our place. We treat everybody the same way. And it's been an honor to do what I do and enjoy every day of it. thank you.
Well, thank you so much for your dedication and for providing a service in our community that's so necessary. I truly appreciate it. I love recognizing businesses, and someone that's been here, you're a staple of the community. So thank you so much for all that you've done for us, and I look forward to your continued service to our community. Thank you. Congratulations on 50 years. That's amazing.
Thank you, and thank you for being here.
Yes.
Commissioner Terriani?
It's, you are a anchor of Greenridge Corners, and always have been. And Bonnie, you've done a great job keeping an eye on them. Thank you for everything, and good luck, and hopefully another 20 or 30 years to go, bud.
Ev, 50 years, that's a lot of time. It's a lot of, you were cutting, a young boy would come in and probably get his hair cut and, you know what I mean, grow into a man, get married, have children, then you're cutting their kids' hair, and it's just amazing generation after generation and stuff. It really is.
That's exactly right.
It's like all your customers are like family. They're family.
And to enjoy every minute of it is the nice part of it. To go to work and enjoy what you do.
They could probably tell us some stories.
Oh,
don't you
can
think?
I imagine stories are in that chair?
And some we can't.
Wait, are you one of the participants? You didn't get your hair cut there, did you, sir?
I came here, Attorney Frank Tudor, so I came here for other business today, and I have the opportunity to run into mine.
Would you like to step up to the podium?
Come on up, yeah.
I was delighted to see them because
Go ahead, get
I'm a customer of Bonnie's. I started going to Evan Bonnie's when I was just a young kid at St. Paul's. I kept going there through my high school years, through college, and even through law school. And Evan Bonnie have been a pillar in that Greenridge community for decades. And I can tell you this, everybody who walked through their doors, they treated as family. And I was just honored to see them being acknowledged by the commissioners here today. And I was just happy to play a small part in it. Congratulations.
Thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, sweetie.
Ev, did he sit still? Did he sit still? Okay, I just wanna make sure. There's certain things you're concerned about. Okay, your location is 1912 Boulevard Avenue, and your phone number. What's your phone number, Ev? Somebody wants to set up an appointment to come in.
346-8880.
That's easy.
That's great. But congratulations. Like I said, you are a pillar of the community, and like I said, this is where, you know, I mean, we talk about like home and family, and we're talking about private first class hand and coming home. That's when you leave, that's when you think about those things that make up home. It's your house, it's the people cut your hair, it's the store, it's your pharmacist, it's your family, it's your friends, it's the people that own the restaurant you go to. That's what you think about, and you're part of those. You're part of those memories. And there's a memory. That first haircut, I remember my first haircut. It's a scary thing the first time you go to get your hair cut. But I remember, like, my father taking me to the barber shop, and they put the little slat across the actual big old barber chair, and you sat there. But to be part of that, that's what you brought to the community. You, like I said, generations of children have come through and become men, and their children have come through too. So thank you for everything that you've done for the community. It matters. No problem. Commissioner Cummings, you're welcome. No, stay.
Here.
No.
We're gonna
We got
bring
more
you
to do.
Today, I offer a certificate of recognition. The County of Lackawanna Board of Commissioners does hereby recognize Ev Jones Hair Care in honor of achieving the designation of a small business spotlight in Lackawanna County, given this 10th day of January 2018 by Commissioner Patrick O'Malley, Commissioner Jerry Notarianni, and myself, Commissioner Lorene Cummings. Come on up, we'll get a picture and offer the certificate. Now we can clap. Honor to have you. Come on up.
Thank you.
Be careful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy.
Stand over there or over here? I'm going to stand in between Jerry.
That's no problem. No problem.
All right, guys, here we go. Looking at me. 1, 2, 3. We could just
What's in the way?
straighten the certificate.
Oh, the certificate.
The certificate.
Oh, there we go. There we go. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We're all smiles. 1, 2, and perfect.
It's an honor to have you here.
It's an honor.
Just enjoy our set.
Thank you.
so much. Just keep working hard for us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
No problem. Congratulations.
Thank you. Just keep working hard for our Senate.
Absolutely, absolutely. I love to stories.
Ev, do me a favor. Don't let Frank get a free haircut out of this, you know? Okay, opportunity for the public to address the board on agenda items only.
Excuse me, the weatherization program.
What? Oh, geez, I'm sorry. Jeff.
John, do you have the right agenda?
Okay, sorry. I'd like Mr. Bill Browning, Children Youth Services, and Jason Kavulich of Area Aging. All of us come up to the podium. You know, I mean, all of us understand and endured the cold weather that we just had, and it was frightful. It was frightful. I reached out to Andy. I said, Andy, you know, we got to make sure that we're doing everything that we're supposed to do to Lackawanna County government, because, you know, our citizens, you know, and even if they're outside, that's our citizens too. They need to be protected, and if they need help, we got to try to help them and make sure that they're able to come inside if they want to be inside. Because sometimes people that are outside just, they don't want to come in. But we have to make sure that every opportunity is there. So at this time, I'd like to have Bill Browning talk about some of the options we have and some of the things that went on. Bill?
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. I think one of the things that we're lucky, we heard about community and family, et cetera, and I think in our human service network, it's fairly robust, and we have that close relationship. So people aren't going to see huge events happening during crises like this because things are just being taken care of. The human service network, we have personal phone numbers of each and cell phones, et cetera, numbers of all the providers in case there are issues. One of the things that we mandated is there was no wrong door. So if somebody called for help, whether it was children, youth, or aging, they got the same response from human services. We didn't just give them a phone number or say we ensured that they were linked with any service, whether it's a shelter. So we have, you know, during the daytime community intervention center, we have St. Anthony Shelter, we have other providers through UNC, et cetera, that were able to take care of people in this time of need. I was in contact with the heads of various departments like UNC and SLHDA to ensure that there weren't any funding or access problems. And there were none, and they did have our number in case their capacity had been reached and they needed additional resources. We were poised to help them with that. We never had to actually get additional resources because the system just worked. They weren't at capacity. We had done a lot of work prior to that through permanent supportive housing to ensure that the shelter need wasn't as great as we had originally anticipated, especially given the time that Bethel AME had closed their doors at that time. We didn't have any issues with capacity. One of the things that we do is we have a continuum of care, which is a consortium of all the housing providers, and they meet on a regular basis. And I had appointed Jason to be a permanent board member to that consortium to ensure that if there are any anticipated needs that we're addressing in the county in real time, as opposed to waiting for a crisis to occur and then do it afterwards. So I think it's a testament to our human service network that we weren't really in crisis, that it worked, people were taken care of, and fortunately, we were able to address the needs of the community. And I'll turn it over to Jason if as far as his membership in the COC, if that's
Thank you.
okay.
Thanks, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Jason, how are you? Good morning.
Good morning. Just to reiterate what Mr. Browning said, the way we can solve the problems that come across our desks every day is because we're part of a robust network, and we operate as a human service network. Aging is just a part of a bigger whole. Just an example of what our human service partners and the aging department did during this time of crisis. You know, aging serves about 3,800 individuals at any given moment in Lackawanna County. Out of those individuals, we have 1,400 people that are actively receiving care management. Those individuals we saw that needed extra help, that we felt were living in rural areas, they were isolated, they lived alone, and they didn't have a family support network. We made special calls to them to make sure that they had enough food, they didn't have any heating issues. We did get the calls. We did get the calls for burst pipes. We did get the calls for furnaces. Fortunately, we have partnerships with SLHDA, Neighbor Works. We can turn those individuals over to them and do a warm handoff, help those people get through the door to get the services that they need. We still continue to get the calls for LIHEAP. It's a critical program that's run for our seniors. Most of our seniors that are living in low-income situations rely on that program to get them through the winter. So as an agency, we were very proactive. Our staff, we made sure that they were aware of community resources. We made sure that they had the right numbers, the right connections to community partners, even in after hours, even on weekends, to make sure that no one went without services, that we didn't have a situation where we had a homeless older adult or an older adult that had an issue with their home with burst pipes that had nowhere to go. So just as part of the collective, we are an active partner with the Department of Human Services, all of our community partners, United Neighborhood Centers, Catholic Social Services, Catherine McCauley, CIC, all of them, Friends of the Poor, they're all critical to the work that we do.
What's the phone number if somebody has an issue to call?
570-963-6740. And we will not just simply give you a phone number.
You'll get them into the right direction where they're supposed to be going.
If they need more assistance, if they need transportation assistance, we help them get there physically as well as just connecting them to the resource.
Great. Commissioner Cummings?
Yeah, I had gotten multiple calls, and I know that we were all kind of calling together, seeing what we can help out with, and I appreciate the work that we're doing, both Bill and yourself. And, one of the tragedies, I did get a call last night. Actually, I got 3 calls about somebody that was had passed away. They were on their porch. A woman died on her porch. She was there for 4 days. These are the kind of things that happen in these areas, and it's not in our county. It was in Susquehanna County. But, it can happen anywhere.
It could.
So even situations like that, that you just don't expect. That's why we always say try and check on your neighbors and your, local around you, because a lot of them don't have family, So I appreciate the work that you did, and I appreciate the work that Andy and Commissioner O'Malley did in regards to this. So good job, and thanks again.
Commissioner Terriani?
It's you did do a great job in this, both of you, and the trick seems to be coordinating all of the other organizations that are very helpful, and you did a great job coordinating that, and it worked out real well, and thank you.
I'd like to personally thank both of you and your staff. Thank you for what you do in area aging and children youth service to protect our community and those that need protecting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job.
Opportunity for the public to address the board on agenda items only.
Good morning, Marie Schumacher, 1799 East Mountain Road in Scranton. I would just like to, I guess, rather than addressing you all, because obviously this wouldn't be on here if you weren't going to vote for it, but to the citizens at large, pay attention to what's happening in Harrisburg, because you can bet your bottom dollar that if the ability to have a tax or a fee is made available to local municipalities or counties, it will be taken advantage of. And I know it's $5 on vehicle registration, but $5 is a lot of money to many people who need their cars for getting to work or to their doctors. So I wish it wasn't on here. Thank you.
Okay, ordinance first reading. 18-0015.
This would be implementing a county vehicle registration fee. First reading today is scheduled for January 10th, 2018. This would be known as ordinance number 252 of the Board of Commissioners of the County of Lackawanna County. Subcaption of this is ordinance implementing a fee for local use as provided for by Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, CS Statute 1935, allowing a county to impose a county fee of $5 for each non-exempt vehicle registered to an address located within the county's political border. Whereas Lackawanna County is a third-class county existing pursuant to the laws of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania and a Home Rule Charter County. Whereas Act 89 of 2013, amending 75 PSCS, allows and directs these counties within the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania at their discretion to impose a $5 county fee for every non-exempt vehicle registered to an address located within said county. Whereas this law requires each county that elects to implement this fee to pass an ordinance authorizing the same. Whereas beginning January 1st, 2015, the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania authorized counties to enact this ordinance to levy this fee, whereas this county requires to notify the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation on following the enactment date and a minimum of 90 days prior to the effective date of the ordinance, whereas upon levy by ordinance of the county and due notice to the department, directs the department to collect the county fee at time of vehicle registration, deposit receipts into a fee for a local use fund, whereas the Commonwealth directs the county money be paid into a fee for a local fee distributed by the department to each participating county and accounts for the amount collected for said county, whereas funds payable to the county from the fee for local use shall be used by the county for transportation purposes or be allocated by the county to municipalities in the county in accordance with the code and the county liquid fuels tax fund, whereas the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County has determined at this point in time it would be in the best interest of the county to impose this fee for authorized use pursuant to this statute and hereby presents the following ordinance for approval. Now therefore the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby ordains as follows: enact this ordinance levying a $5 county fee pursuant to each non-exempt vehicle registered to an address located in Lackawanna County. 2, if a section, subsection, paragraph, sentence, clause, or phrase of this ordinance is declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by any court of competent jurisdiction, such decision shall be effective validity of the remaining portions of this ordinance. 3, this ordinance shall be in full force and effect 90 days after enactment as required by law. This is the first reading of the ordinance. There is no vote required, but it will be read at our next meeting on January 24th, 2018, and be considered for adoption.
Is there anything the board would like to say? Okay.
By way of explanation, Commissioners, I think it should be reflected, even though you're not going to discuss it today. This money would be used exclusively
Infrastructure.
for roads and bridge work in Lackawanna
Structure that costs
County.
a lot of money. We can't.
And most of the counties in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania have taken advantage of and implemented this as a way to improve their infrastructure, roads and bridges in their counties.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, resolutions 18-0018, approving current payables.
Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby approves the following payables from the Lackawanna County General Fund, numbers 255-251 to 256-0088 inclusive, totaling $3,323,163.50. Electronic fund transfers, including all payroll accounts, totaling $3,561,140.84.
I'd like to make a motion approving current payables. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 18-0005.
Awarding a comprehensive inmate health care services. Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby awards a comprehensive inmate health care services, accepts the proposal from Correction Care CCI after receiving the full recommendation of the Lackawanna County Prison Board to adopt this at a County Commissioners meeting. And our distinguished warden, Tim Betty, is here to explain this agreement.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Warden.
Just very briefly, we went through an RFP process seeking companies interested in providing the inmate health care services. A review committee was formed and had a unanimous recommendation for the Prison Board. The Prison Board also endorsed that recommendation for the Board of Commissioners for Correctional Care, Inc. It's a 3-year deal.
Does the board have any questions for Warden Betty?
No, I have some comments.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a savings of $1 million on this, correct? Is that what they brought up at the meeting?
It's over the course of the 3 years, it actually is more along the lines of $1.5 to $2 million. The
Correct.
first year was almost $1 million itself.
Correct. And also, as someone who was served on that committee, one of the items that really was a deciding factor was the fact of local caregivers and instead of utilizing physicians from outside the area. Is that correct?
Yes, Commissioner, yes.
So we're employing our own people. Very good.
Well, they wouldn't have to wait for an answer. I mean, it seemed as though in the one of the contracts they'd have to wait for an answer in regards to specialized care.
Mm-hmm.
And the neurologists weren't in this area that they were utilizing, so. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before you vote on this, I would just like to make a note. I just heard that Judge Rule may have had an issue with one of the terms in the agreement. Can I just suggest that you vote and approve the agreement subject to review by the solicitors? That
Sure.
there may be some outstanding issue there, and before approving the one attached, we want to make sure we're okay with the judge on it, okay?
So do we have to change
Okay, so
the,
Right, the prison board recommended, Attorney Frederickson said through one of the emails, Judge Giroulo may have had an issue with, Judge Gibbons, I'm sorry, may have an issue with one or some of the terms of this specific contract, so we want to iron that out. So any vote will be subject to the review of the solicitors relative to the terminology.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion awarding comprehensive inmate health care services. Do I have a second?
Second, and that's subject to, we have to add
Subject
that?
to, yeah, any review, final review of the actual contract.
Yeah, I'll second that.
Okay, roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 18-0006.
Entering into a service agreement with Comtep Lackawanna County. Be resolved, Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby enters into an agreement with Comtech Security LLC to provide maintenance, repair, evaluation of security equipment. Cost of one-year service agreement to be $12,680. Commence on January 1st, 2018. And again, our Warden Tim Betty is here to explain this agreement.
This agreement is a one-year service agreement. It'll include inspection, service, and support. Comtech is the company that has had this contract for, I'm guessing, around 10 years at this point in time. They're very familiar with all aspects of this, of what the service agreement covers.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Betty? I'd like to make a motion entering into a service agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, Warden. 18-0007.
Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby enter into an intergovernmental agreement establishing a PREA hotline by and between the County of Lackawanna Department of Corrections and establishing a mechanism for individuals to report allegations of sexual abuse occurring at county correctional facilities. And again, our Warden Tim Betty is here to explain this annual process and procedure.
In a nutshell, there's already a PREA hotline. It's based out of SEI Camp Hill. They've switched operations to the Department of Corrections Bureau of Community Corrections. So the hotline itself is now going to be at DCC headquarters instead of at SEI Camp Hill. Different phone number. All we have to do is just change some phone numbers on our notifications for the inmate population. The hotline, again, it's been in existence for years. It's just new number, new place to call, but still part of the Department of Corrections.
Okay. Does the board have any questions? I'd like to make a motion establishing a PREA hotline, which you already have, but we're just establishing a new number. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
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 Thank you.
18-008.
Entering into an agreement with McGrail, Merkel, Quinn.
Thanks, Warden. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Entering into an engagement letter with McGrail, Merkel, Quinn, and Associates. Be resolved, Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby enters into an engagement letter with McGrail, Merkel, Quinn, and Associates for Lackawanna County Retirement Pension Plan audit for year ended December 31st, 2017 for a fixed cost of $11,000. Tom Durkin, our CFO, is here to explain the agreement.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
As I've done at each of the last couple meetings, I'm asking the Commissioners to approve the engagement with McGrail Young to get our pension audit done. McGrail has been doing the pension audit for more than 10 years, the most recent 10 years, and they've done a satisfactory job, and their renewal rate is $11,000. It's a little bit of an increase, $500 increase from last year. Last year it was $10,500, but I'm requesting the Commissioners approve this contract.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for Mr. Durkin? I'd like to make a motion entering into an engagement letter with McGrail, Merkel, Quinn, and Associates. Do I have a second?
Second.
I'm
Roll
in a
call.
public commissioners meeting. There's nothing I can do about
Commissioner
it. You're gonna have to
Terriani?
introduce it. I gotta go.
Commissioner Cummings?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners.
You're welcome, Tom. 18-0009.
Entering into cooperative agreement. Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby enters into a cooperative agreement with Pennsylvania Department of Conservation and Natural Resources for 2018 for the gypsy moth suppression program, and our Director of Parks and Recreation, Mr. Bill Davis, is here to explain the agreement.
Hey,
Morning,
Bill.
Commissioners.
Morning.
This is an annual agreement that we have with the state of Pennsylvania, whereby our gypsy moth coordinator will go out, assess properties based on criteria put forth by the state, whether we will be able to spray those areas to prevent gypsy moths. This is not a grant. This is a participation agreement that we budget for, and this year's amount will be $25,050, which comes out to we'll be spraying about 1,000 acres for that amount of money, and we just pay the amount, and then the state contracts for a contractor to spray the areas that have been designated.
Okay. Does the board have any questions?
No, I just wanted to see if you can emphasize on the savings that we had in this.
Well, we had initially, when we go through our budget process, the state had told us that it would be about $50 an acre, which would be roughly around $50,000. They came back for the same amount of acreage at $25,000. So we're saving about $25,000.
Thank you. It's great. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Like to make a motion to enter into a cooperative agreement. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. 18-0010.
This is approving the West Nile Virus Control Grant application. Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby approves the West Nile Virus Control Grant application with the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. Determine grant award for January 21, 2018 through calendar year December 31st, 2018 will be $48,349. And again, Mr. Bill Davis will explain the agreement.
Commissioners, this is an annual grant that we receive from the Department of Environmental Protection for the monitoring of and control of West Nile through the mosquitoes. This year's agreement will actually have an opportunity to hire a college intern. So I've already spoken to Justin McGregor, our HR director, and we'll be advertising that hopefully in February. The position would then start in April, and it would pay about $15, according to the agreement, $15 an hour to a college intern. We were going to reach out to the local colleges for somebody studying environmental science, biology. It'd be a great opportunity to gain some field experience. And it's also helping us because we don't have to hire another full-time person. This is a seasonal position.
Yeah, with the spraying and stuff, absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and that's 100%, like for instance, there'll be a vehicle provided, the lease for that is provided, and also the salary for this person as well. So it's 100% funded, and it's included in the $48,000 number.
And that's just for this summer, the part-time
Yes.
person?
Yep.
Okay. But the vehicle we'll have for a few years, right?
Well, no, the vehicle's for the, while they're
there, right? For
while
the
they're
summer.
there.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know we've had other grants where we had a vehicle for a couple of years.
Yeah, this is only specific to that person being hired.
Okay. Does the board have any questions? I'd like to make a motion approving the West Nile Virus Control Grant application. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, Bill. 18-0011.
Authorizing the filing of a redevelopment assistance capital grant program application. Whereas the Dixon City Revitalization Project entails acquisition of a parcel of land located on Main Street, Dixon City, whereas the County of Lackawanna is an eligible applicant for redevelopment RCAP funds as a source to finance the project, whereas Dixon City Revitalization Group LLC has proposed that the county assist Dixon City in obtaining funding from the Commonwealth's RCAP program, whereas the county desires to assist Dixon City Revitalization in obtaining this funding, whereas Lackawanna County hereby authorizes the chairman of the Board of Commissioners to sign and authorize all documents and accept any awards related to these redevelopment assistance capital fund programs, Therefore, be it resolved, the Lackawanna County Board of Commissioners is hereby authorized to accept this award, the amount of $1 million from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania for this RCAP program on behalf of Dixon City Revitalization Program, LLC, for their use. Mr. George Kelly, Director of our Economic Development Office, is here to answer any questions.
Mr.
Good
Kelly.
morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
As you're aware, we filed a number of applications in this year for redevelopment assistance, 3 projects through the county. This project was awarded by the governor. Typically what would happen is there's an itemization on a bill that allows us to apply for these type of grants, which is a dollar-for-dollar match, to spur economic activity, maintain jobs, increase tax base. 3 projects were awarded this year as part of the governor and the Office of Budget's consideration, and now is the time that we have to formally respond back to the governor and saying we want this grant, and then we have to do a full-blown application business plan, which is a laborious process. So we're kicking that process off because we have received notification that they awarded or have considered awarding the 3 projects. What I'd like to do is bring up Attorney Frank Tunis up to tell us a little bit more about the Dixon City project that he is involved with, and he's driving that project.
General counsel for the developer in this project.
Frank, nice haircut.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, you have did a good job on you.
Unfortunately, couldn't develop the magic
Sorry, I
potion
couldn't resist that.
to keep more hair in my head, but we're still working on that. I represent the developer in this project. They are a construction company who was originally located in Dunmore, Pennsylvania, behind the 5-star equipment factory up there. The business grew and grew and grew and eventually outgrew the space, and we're looking for some more space to operate and run the business. This was a perfect opportunity for them up in the Dixon City area, which led them to apply for this $1 million RACP grant. We were pleasantly surprised when we heard that, the county was awarded these 3 grants that George spoke about. We anticipate this is a shovel-ready project. We're going to be building a 22,500 square foot office building and a garage up in Dixon City. We plan on expanding our job base from about 25 to 50 people next year.
That's great, Frank.
Thank you. The company is started as a general utility contractor, has now grown into do some more site work. And as you know, I think, Commissioner, we're doing some site work right now up at the airport. So, we're pleased that the county has applied for this grant and that they are going to work with us and assist us in getting this grant approved. If there's any questions that you have, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Tunis? Okay, I'd like to make a motion authorizing the filing for a redevelopment assistance capital program grant application. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Frank, good job.
Yeah, thanks, Frank.
The record should also reflect, Mr. Kelly was probably going to mention, we do get an administrative fee for administering the program on behalf of them, correct, Mr. Kelly?
Yes, there is a 1% fee.
Thank you.
Great job, George. Okay, 18-0012.
These are appointments to the Workforce Development Board. Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby reappoints the following individuals to the Workforce Development Board with a term to run from October 1st, 2017 until September 20th, 1919 from the private sector. Mr. Thomas Donahue Kern, Chairman from Lamar Corporation, Scranton. Mr. Nicholas Cohen, current Vice Chairman, who represents Invenergy LLC. Sylvania Benavides from Hamagos Centos, Inc., Mr. Jack Rieger from Blackout Design, Mr. Dan Santinello from Fidelity Deposit and Discount Bank, Mr. Andy Script from Scranton-Lackawanna Industrial Building Company, Mr. John Tabarate from ERA One Source Realty from the public sector, Mr. Austin Burke, formerly president of the Scranton Chamber of Commerce, representing consultants, Mr. William Cockrell, representing labor representatives, Mr. Eric Asota, NEP IRC, representing economic development, Mr. George Kelly from Lackawanna County, representing Lackawanna County Economic Development, Mr. Ken Klinkle, a labor representative, Mr. Jack McNulty, a state mediator from the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Representing mediation, Mr. Elaine Stolfa from the Pennsylvania Department of Labor Industry. Be it further resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County does hereby appoint the following individual to the Workforce Development term to run from December 1st, 2017 till November 13th, 2019. Tracy Brundage from Keystone College as an education representatives, adopted at a regular Board of Commissioners meeting held today, January 10th, 2018. Mr. Kelly will explain these requirements.
Commissioners, Lackawanna County partners with the Workforce Development Board to help companies, to help people obtain jobs, get the right job training and skill sets to make an impact. They also help transitional needy families with some job skills and get them back into the workforce. So they do really important work. The responsibility of the commissioners is to take nominations and appoint them to the board. What this first step is really just to reappoint the people that have been appointed previously, with the exception of Tracy from Keystone, to keep us in compliance with the state mandate to have a certain composition of the board and keep the board current. In the future, I'll also be coming back for recommendations from the commissioners for additional business people for this board to really drive in and help us meet the needs of business communities. So today, it's really to keep us in compliance, to keep the board going, because most of these terms have expired, and then we'll look to actually backfill that with additional people as we find some great nominations.
Does the board have any questions for Mr. Kelly? George, I'd like to thank you for staying up on all this and making sure that, everyone's terms are going to be up and everything's going to be efficient and effective, because I know there's some things that you were cleaning up over the last couple of years, and you're doing a great job on it.
Thank you, sir. So appreciate that.
Okay, I'd like to make a motion for the appointments to the Workforce Development Board. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, George. 18-0013.
This is awarding the Arts and Culture Program and Stream Grants. Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County hereby awards the 2018 Lackawanna County Arts and Culture Program Stream Grants in the amount of $217,200 and the 2018 Lackawanna County Community Arts and Culture Program Grants in the amount of $39,927 as attached hereto. And in the interest of time, we're not going to read these out. There's approximately 4 pages, unless any of the commissioners would like me to direct to read each one and the amount. And Mr. Chris Calby, the Program Manager and Acting Director of Arts and Culture, is here to answer any questions.
Yeah, well, I'm looking, did they change line item 523513 for the law library? Because they still had it listed at a $240,000 allocation when it shouldn't be.
No, it was changed to $65,000.
Okay, and that number would change our bottom line then, which didn't change from our report that we just listed. Because they had 212 and 60. So that should be on the total should be changed, correct, or no?
Because you did update the flow charts on it, correct?
Yeah,
because we discussed that, and you did tell me that it was going to be reduced to 65,000. Commissioner Cummings pointed that out to us in a work session, and the 3 commissioners substantively agreed with her on that, and that would be reflected today.
That is correct.
So the 217.2 is a revised number?
No,
that's my question.
No, that is not. The library funding in the other 2 main institutions are not in this packet because
Part of it, no.
they were approved with the budget, and it was approved at $65,000 in the annual budget.
They're line items in our current budget.
Okay, so these 2 separate sheets of paper I have, because on, let me just show you what I'm looking at, okay, Chris?
Oh, you're looking at that worksheet. You're absolutely right on that.
This is saying 212.
And
this is saying
it's changed.
217. So which one is?
Correct. We didn't change it on here because it's in the budget.
Project grant.
Yeah.
39.
You take Dave Hahn's call and tell him.
And this is the program.
See if there's an emergency. Yes, yeah. Just make sure there's nothing that's right away, yeah. He doesn't usually call me in.
Okay, so
this is
that's wrong.
That's 65.
Justin in here?
Right.
This is all.
He's on next. He should come in and sit down.
One that's wrong only has a 212.
No, this is a subtotal. Because this is.
You're on next. You know that, right?
This is the, not the
Got it. Okay, so now it makes sense. But then this 217 went up, why? Because it was
No
212 too.
emergency, sir.
Well, with the, yeah, because of the Scranton tomorrow.
Scranton tomorrow was added?
Yeah, for the movies.
When was that added?
Appreciate him telling me.
It was added last year.
Directed my wife to do it. I said, thank you.
Oh, okay, so this was last year's line item budget?
If I know that.
Okay, and
Could you-
I do have an issue with the one
Can you do something?
program that was listed, so can we separate those out? Number 13, Scranton Fringe Festival.
How do you want to?
I'd like to be able to vote
Sure,
no
no,
on
I-
that.
Okay. Yeah, what number did you say it was? Third?
On this sheet that Chris gave me, it was,
The Scranton Fringe Festival is a framework of an organization, and they have people come and participate, and they have no control over the individuals that participate, and they can't censor the information that's provided.
but they're listing rated R shows. They have rated R, rated PG-13 at the Scranton Cultural Center. And we're paying for that, and I'm not going to be a part of that.
What we'll do is we'll vote for, I'll make a motion that we're going to vote for, all the arts and culture program stream grants, except for the Fringe Festival.
Scranton Fringe Festival.
And then we'll vote that
We'll do that one,
separately.
we'll do that independent of it?
Yes,
Sure.
Because
independent.
they're working at the Children's Library for
Yeah.
crying out loud with
So-
rated R programming, like, I'm sorry, I just can't approve that.
So
Understood.
I'd like to make a motion awarding the arts and culture program stream and project grants, except for the Scranton Fringe Festival. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Commissioner Notarianni?
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings?
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Now, do you want
Now we're going
to-
to make a motion awarding the arts and culture program stream project grants to the Scranton Fringe Festival. Do I have a second? Second. Roll call.
Commissioner Terriani?
Yes.
Commissioner Cummings?
No.
Commissioner O'Malley?
Yes.
And Commissioner Cummings has stated her reason on the
Yeah, on the
record already
question-
that she's reflecting her no
On the
vote.
question, I think the public needs to get more involved in some of the things that are happening in our arts and culture department, because I have requested and went to their meetings and asked specifically that items were not voted on in regards to some of the shows that they have. I don't feel they're appropriate, and I believe that if the taxpayers were aware of some of the items that their taxpayer dollars are going to, they would be outraged. Just letting you know in the public that you need to pay more attention to what's happening in the community and where your tax money is going. And I know that Chris had stated that you did request that they did not do that again, but yet they did do it again. So why we're funding this is beyond me, and why the three institutions that we pay, well, two of them now get $240,000 from the taxpayers, why they're involved in this kind of nonsense is beyond me. But I don't agree with it, and with that, next year I will not be voting. Because of that fact, I will not be voting for that $240,000 allocation, because they're allowing this to happen in their facilities in regards to our children, and our children's library is allowing it as well. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thank you.
18-0019.
This is accepting a proposal from the New York Life Insurance Company. Be it resolved, the Board of Commissioners of Lackawanna County does hereby accept the proposal from New York Life Insurance Company for group term life insurance and AD&D coverage to commence January 1st, 2018 at a cost of .25 cents and .2 cents per thousand people for Lackawanna County employees, and Mr. Justin McGregor, our Director of County Human Services, is here to explain the agreement and why we made the substantive change.
Morning, Commissioners. How are you?
Good morning,
So during the budgetary process, I was asked to find savings, and we looked into everything within the department, including the life insurance plan we offer to our employees. This would result in about 2.4% savings overall, and vastly expand life insurance products to employees, including their spouses and children.
Okay. Does the board have any questions for Justin? I'd like to make a motion accepting a proposal for New York Life. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
I'm going to abstain.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Yes. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, Justin.
18-0014.
This is a motion to award the railroad overhead contact system to the lowest responsible bidder, Vinalt Electrical Construction, Inc., at $174,860. And Mr. Gary Cavill, our county engineer, who has been working on this project for the last years, here to explain this agreement. And in addition, Mr. Wayne Hiller, director of our trolley system. Wayne, you want to come forward too, is also here with Mr. Cavill, if the board should have any questions for either one of these gentlemen.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
This is for rehabilitating the electrical line above the trolley itself. Over the years, with the stress on the lines, it started sagging. If you recall, we put this out to bid about 6 months ago, and it was outside of the budget, so therefore we reallocated money and we put it back out to bid, and now it's come in much lower than what it was, at $174,860.
Oh, that's great.
Okay. Does the
background?
Sure, go ahead. Sure.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'd like to
Morning,
give
Wayne.
you a little background of the Trolley Museum.
Thank you, Wayne.
Phase 1 of the construction was completed in 1999. Phase 2, 3, and 4 consecutive years later. So basically, the overhead line is 19 years old. Other than applying minor Band-Aids to the line, no major work or money has been dedicated to the overhead line. This is the this year, the museum set both an attendance and revenue records. To ensure the continual safety and longevity of for our tourists, we need to address the deficiencies of the overhead line.
Wayne.
Yes.
Talk about how many people have come through the trolley museum this year compared
This
to
year,
last
we
year.
had over 37,000 people come through the Trolley Museum.
That's great.
And that sets a record since it's been down there. Normally, it's in the mid-20s. We had several factors.
Is the John Oliver train helping a little bit there?
That helped a little. That helped. We had
WNEP
all
train?
kinds of- yes, we had all kinds of special events down
Yeah.
there. We had programs going down there, WVIA down there. And I must tell you, hey, the help of Steamtown giving free admission also helped, I'd have to
Sure.
say. But it was, we had a very good season. It was very productive, and I'd like to continue raising the attendance and the revenue. And to do that, we need the line deficiencies addressed to ensure safety.
That's great. Okay.
Thank
That was
you.
a great job. And I saw that line. Remember, they were
Yeah.
showing us how bad that was? Did you see it, Commissioner? It's
sagging.
just sagging. So, yeah, it
hasn't been
definitely has to be
attended to in
done.
19 years, Commissioner, and it needs to be
It
addressed.
absolutely does.
It's a
And-
safety issue now. Well,
Yes, it is. So thank you very much. And
But
there is
thanks.
some savings on that, so.
that's great with the attendance too. Like that's really, really good. Like I said, I think it's like it's a hub. It really is. Anybody in the viewing audience, please go down to the Trolley Museum and actually not only go and view the older trolleys, but ride one too. It's really great. It really is. And like I said, it's especially around Christmas and we get into the fall season. Baseball, we have the trolley going up for the baseball games. It's just so great for the people of Lackawanna County and anyone that's visiting our community. Okay, I'd like to make a motion awarding the railroad overhead contract system to the lowest responsible bidder, Van Electrical Consultant, for $174,860. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks for the great
Commissioners.
work.
Thank you.
18-0016.
The final business item on our agenda today is 18-0016, a motion to award a utility pole replacement to the lowest responsible bidder, Joyce Electrical, at $28,200. And again, Mr. Gary Cavill, our engineer from GPI, is here to explain this process and agreement to the county commissioners.
Nice to see you again, Gary.
Commissioners, this is for 3 poles that we're replacing along the line for the Globe building for the fiber. They are city-owned by the city of Scranton, but we are replacing them and they are repairing their own lines. I know the question came up, do we have an agreement in place to ensure that we're not charged in the future. We are currently negotiating that. That is not in place. But what I would like to do is get a motion to award contingent upon us getting that agreement in place. I'm working with the solicitor right now.
Okay. Does the board have any other questions? I'd like to make a motion to award the utility pole replacement to lowest responsible bidder, Joyce Electric, at $28,200 upon solicitor's concurrence. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you,
Can
Commissioners.
we hang out for a little bit after?
Sure.
Yep.
Okay, opportunity for the public to address the board.
Marie Schumacher. First of all, I was surprised that nobody was here to represent the controller, because all other meetings that I've been to had the current payables.
The controller was in
Over there.
attendance and the
Yeah.
deputy controller.
Okay, but did the deputy controller wasn't asked, was she? If
There were no
Well,
questions on it.
We asked, but...
Only if there are questions.
But they would actually, yeah, he would say, there's an issue, like, you know, we asked that just because, but just wasn't asked today. Yeah, they would bring everything.
Okay.
We have a good rapport with the controller's office. We
Okay,
don't-
I
thank
agree
you.
with her. I
The-
apologize. I usually do too,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
apologize, Marie. I usually do that too. So you're correct.
Yeah,
We went pretty quick today, Gary. We're
And
setting a
the-
record. We're going to be out here early today.
No, we're not.
Okay. The other,
there's actually, yeah, there's 3 here, actually.
okay, maybe that's a whole nother issue then.
There
However,
we go.
also, I know it's easy, having worked in an industry with lots of acronyms, to not define what the acronym is the first time it's used, and that PREA, nobody ever,
Pennsylvania Rape Elimination Act.
but I don't
I
think
apologize.
it's not in the backup.
I
so
apologize.
First time, it would be helpful.
I
Thank you.
apologize.
Thank you. You don't have to apologize, just don't do it the next time. Thank you. What can I tell you? Then I would like to get more information on, the Times had an article about you were getting ready to start the corrections to the property at the courthouse on where corrections need to be made.
Oh, the corrections, okay, good.
That's
What
on
is the
Stones,
status of
right?
that?
We don't talk right now. This is
Right.
just for her to talk.
I was just asking if that's.
Can you tell me what the status of actually proceeding with that is? It seems to be a moving target, and also, I mean, my number one thing is, are you properly fixing that quote that is from the Bible?
Okay. We'll answer it under Commissioner's...
Okay,
responses.
thank you. And then, I would like to know how, on a deed, this just came up today, I would have bought a copy of the deed, but now that it's apparently going to cost me $5, which I do not understand, to print out a copy of a deed, I don't know what service I'm getting. I thought we as taxpayers already paid for the database, and what I do with my personal computer at home, if I want to make a copy of something, I think is my business. I see no added benefit to this fee. You can't provide anything else. The data's already there. And now you're going to start charging either $50 a month or $5. I don't understand that, and I definitely don't approve of it. But there was a property transaction this morning that involved 3 parcels, and the 3 parcels were all over the county, but yet there's one assessment for all 3. Is that really legal? I thought each property had a separate PIN and was assessed separately. Am I incorrect? That's what I would like to know. Okay, so you can address that later. I don't think that is appropriate, and I would like to see that corrected. And if it is, is there any reason why, for instance, the University of Scranton has bought a lot of properties in which, well, not a lot in which, but several, in which there are for-profit businesses being run, Lavish being one of them. 600, I tried to find 600, I couldn't even find 600 Linden Street on the assessor's website, so I don't know how that's assessed. But does a building have to be either totally exempt or totally non-exempt, or can it be prorated? Because I think they're missing out on a lot. And again, I would request that you reconsider your, I don't even know what you decided. Obviously, you decided not to do a hub test, but I think we need a hub test, because if you would go over the 5 essentials, I think we have plenty of nonprofits that should not be property tax exempt. And as a Scranton taxpayer who has to absorb all of that lost revenue, I would humbly request that you relook at doing the hub test for every nonprofit in the city or tax exempt property. Thank you.
Thanks, Marie.
Anyone else? Okay, commissioners, other business. Commissioner Cummings?
Okay. Get your popcorn now. There's a visitor in our audience that I was actually going to address the situation with him in regards to his property. So I think rather than have him sit through my dissertation, I will start with that. And that's why I did ask Gary Cavill to stay.
Oh, this is the Dewey Avenue?
Yes, and it's a property that, you know, everyone on this commission knows I sit on the Conservation Board, and a lot of people don't understand what the Conservation Board does. One of the things that they do is they check on water runoff and low-volume roads. If they're, you know, they get a U shape or they're curves, then they have to be fixed because the water runoff is causing problems for the local homeowners. I attended a couple of meetings in Scranton addressing the reassessment issue, and while I was there, met a gentleman by the name of Mr. Shrebro, and I heard his story and his plight, and I thought maybe what he was referring to was such an instance where the Conservation Board would help. So when I do hear of these situations, I generally ask Jerry Stiles to go out and check it out and let me know if there's something that the county can do to help the resident, in which he did. And I will read you his letter that he sent to me, and he's not here, so I'll read the letter that he responded with. I received a call from you on November 16th requesting the district assess an area near the intersection of Dewey and Lafayette Streets in West Scranton. You indicated that you had seen or attended recent Scranton City Council meetings where citizens voiced concerns regarding water runoff and flooding issues in this area. On the afternoon of 11/21, you and I visited the site and discussed the issues in the area with resident Len Shrebro. At this time, my intention was to determine whether or not the Conservation District had legal authority regarding the stormwater concerns in the area. The Conservation District administers the Commonwealth of PA's program regulating earth disturbance activities, PA Code Title 25, Chapter 102. We do this through a delegation agreement with PA Department of Environmental Protection. My determination was that there were no active or recent earth disturbance activities in this area, and the district would have no legal authority regarding the residents' concerns. My suggestion to you was that commissioners may consider contacting the county engineers, requesting they visit the site and consult with the engineers for the city of Scranton. I received an email from Matt Chorba from Greenman Peterson on 11/22 concerning the site. We met that afternoon so I could show him the area and relay concerns we had heard from Mr. Shrebro. I spoke with Dave Osborne and Labella Associates, engineers for City of Scranton. Mr. Osborne volunteered to meet Matt and I that afternoon. During the on-site meeting, we were joined again by Mr. Shrebro and another resident. The meeting focused on the present stormwater system in the Dewey, Lafayette, Merrifield area. At the conclusion of the meeting, Mr. Osborne said he intended to study the present stormwater system in the area and determine a course of action the city could take to resolve stormwater issues in this area. Mr. Chorba offered assistance and requested Mr. Osborne keep us updated. And I will, if the Scranton Times would like to have a copy of that, they're welcome to it. I would also ask Mr. Cavill, did you get an update from, because you weren't available, I know you were sick, so I don't know if you were updated on the question, the area in question.
I haven't been updated. I mean, we went out there, reviewed the area, and then came back with,
Could you come up to the podium and discuss that, please?
Yeah, Matt Chorba from my office, he's under me. He was out on site, reviewed it. I think we had written a letter that you have.
I do. I'll read that as well.
That, you know, that may alleviate the situation out there. I think there's some issues in the past that have happened that have overloaded the stormwater system.
Okay. Thank you. I just want to make sure that you were.
I haven't heard
the public
anything else.
was aware of what actions that we had done.
Yes.
I do have a letter, and actually, this letter is going to be sent, and I was planning on sending it to to Mayor Courtright, and I did discuss the situation with Commissioner O'Malley. I didn't have the opportunity, Commissioner Notarianni, to speak to you about it. I apologize. But with the holidays and Mr. Gahan, who has been working on it, having an emergency surgery, I did not want to pursue it until I knew he was okay and he was back, because he has been working on the issue, and apparently what I've been told so far is that he's going to have a meeting on the 18th with Mr. Shrebro and the mayor, which I'm thrilled to hear. So the original letter I was writing to Mr. Courtright, to Mayor Courtright, I think it needs to be a little bit revised, because he did set up a meeting with them, and I don't want to hurt that in any way. So I'll revise that and have you sign that one, if that's okay. But what I would like to do is bring this to the media's attention yet again, because I have pictures of the area in question, and it should never. I mean, there are a few homes there that are actually, people had to leave their homes because of this situation. And Mr. Shrebro, you're welcome to come up to the podium if you'd like to discuss it and let us know what you've been going through. I would appreciate it. In the meantime, I'll send these pictures over to you. That's what they have to contend with.
Thanks, Commissioners. Now, I've only been living there I'll try to put it in a nutshell, for about 7 years now. In the 7 years I've been there, it's unbelievable about the flooding problem. I go to council meetings all the time. The neighbors all in that neighborhood, it's probably about an 8 square block, so it's not just my property, you know. The other neighbors, I brought a couple with me, you know, are going through the same thing. It's constant flooding. You know, cellars get filled with water. That's right, there's 3 houses next to my property that they have actually moved out, that they have said, you know, I just can't deal with this anymore. Nobody wants to do anything about it. And for 25 years is the way I understand. This has all been going on with the flooding problem. It's not just the real bad storms. It's anything from a moderate rain onward. You know, my garage gets flooded, the cellar gets flooded. People have moved out because the one neighbor right next to me, the last storm we had last year, the water actually filled up his basement up to the 1st floor. With that, he said, Len, I just can't do this anymore. I'm constantly dealing with the water problem. So are the other neighbors. Even when I started my quest here to try to get something done, probably about 2 years ago now, I've been going to council meetings and bringing up the problem. To me, it just seems like everybody's passing the buck. But, you know, they turn it over, they're waiting for replies constantly. Nobody has gotten back to us, but I try to keep going to, you know, do something so my voice is heard. you know, but so far, nothing, you know, just nothing at all. And that's what I'm just hoping for, that somebody will take notice to this, you know, that there really is a serious problem, you know, and that's about it, you know. I'm just hoping somebody will look into it, you know. I've called DPW, I've been on the phone with PennDOT, I've been on the phone with, when it was the Scranton Sewer Authority, I've called the mayor's office, you know, nobody gets back to you, even DPW, you know, most of the time. They just don't call back, so you wait a long time for somebody to reply. Nobody does. You call again, and it's just an ongoing thing. I just feel so helpless that nobody wants to do anything, you know. And I'm telling you, I pay my taxes on time, and they're not cheap, and every year. Now, recently, my house burned on the property.
This man's been going through hell.
You know, I didn't know for sure if I want to rebuild there. You know, right now I'm in a rental home through my insurance company, but I made the decision. I love the neighborhood. I love the neighbors. They're all good. It's a great place, but the flooding problem is unbelievable. You know, I have a whole bunch of pictures, and I did bring in some information that I just want to hand over. Do whatever you want with it. You know, pictures and documents of the people who own the property.
Thank you very much.
There's everything I could come up with.
There's more.
That's my plea. Somebody please help us. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, and I know that the county is not obviously responsible after I heard the responses from Mr. Stiles and from our different departments that went out and looked at it. However, I'm asking for our commissioners to give him a voice, give that neighborhood a voice. I did visit the site. It's terrible. I mean, the one house is actually crooked from all of the rainwater, and the family has children living in there, and it's something that I would hope that if we maybe bring this out into the open, and if the media would continue to try and bring this out in the open, that a resolution could be brought about. So that's about what I can do, and I wish I could go down there and fix it for you. I really do, because my heart breaks for everyone down there affected by this. I go out on site to a lot of different houses throughout the year. I mean, I because of the fact that I'm on the Conservation Board, and, you know, I love the work that they do, and I kind of wish it was our problem, because I think at that point we could have I would have made sure of it, and I would have been on these two to make sure it happened, but I can't. I mean, the only thing I could do is lobby the city and try and follow up and continue to bring it up at meetings for you, so that you constantly have media attention, and I'll do the best I can with that. And again, I do apologize that there's nothing that I can do as a commissioner, and wish I could, but I will continue to speak about it and bring it to the media's attention in hopes that a resolution is brought for you, because you certainly do deserve it. You've suffered enough. I think what you've had to go through is horrible, and I'm sorry I can't do anything more, but that's what I will continue to do for you. And if there's anything else that you think that I can help with, feel free to come up and talk with me or meet with us, and we'll try and see if there's anything else we can do for any of you.
Lenny, in talking with the neighbors, historically, is it always flooded like that over?
Always.
Always? It's not some new development because they put the dikes or something up, or?
No, I do want to say, since they finished the Kaiser Avenue project, they paved the roads.
Right.
In the last few years, it's definitely got so much.
It is worse. It's worse.
It's worse.
So much worse, yes.
It's worse.
Roads are rivers when we get a bad rain. The storm drains just can't handle it. There's even sewage that ends up getting mixed
God.
with state drain. I mean, there's everything coming out of the drains. Now what our biggest concern with in that neighborhood, now that they have that big power plant gone up on West Mountain, they're, you know, they stripped the mountain of foliage. I've looked into trying to find out where that water is gonna go. And they do have the retention ponds, but PPL cannot tell me after Kaiser Avenue, when it makes its way down the mountain, they can't tell me where the water goes after that, or they won't release the information. Now, if you know the area, it's really common sense that that water runoff is gonna make its way to Kaiser Creek, which comes down to the neighborhood where I live. And that's where all this stormwater is supposed to go to, is Kaiser Creek. So if all this water, I don't know if I have a right. See, they couldn't answer my question where the water goes after Kaiser Avenue. But it's just like common sense. It's got to make its way to Kaiser Creek, which goes along the opposite side of Kaiser Avenue and runs all the way down to where I live in that whole neighborhood. You know, so see, what's gonna be coming now, it's only gotta get worse. And, you know, that made my decision. I was really thinking I don't want to rebuild here, but like I said, I'm set up in that neighborhood. I just love it there, and I'm taking...
It's a great neighborhood. It's a really good neighborhood.
It is.
Well, and there is a safety issue, though, Commissioners, with that one open access pipe. A kid can climb in there. I don't know where it goes. But it's not even, they put a horse in front of it. That was it. This is a lot bigger than it looks on this picture. But any child...
It's a 3 foot by 3 foot.
Yeah, anybody can climb in there and get hurt. That's not even protected.
I feel for all the three of you. I understand. I know the problems you've had back there, and it has got worse through the years. Our problem is with the county, where our jurisdiction ends. But we will absolutely get a letter out. We'll get a phone call in, because you mean whatever you think we can do to help you, because I know that this is an ongoing issue, and we don't want to lose any citizens, especially back in the Kaiser Valley section. So, you know, like I said, if there's anything we can do, we will. But our problem is you know, our jurisdiction's our jurisdiction. But we'll definitely get a letter over to the mayor's office requesting any help that they can do for you guys, and we'll get some phone calls in.
Thank you. That's all I can ask. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And thank you, gentlemen, for coming in. Now on to my book of issues that I wasn't allowed to get to last time because I didn't have time. As a commissioner, my number one issue is to lower taxes. If that's not possible, then cut as much out of the budget as possible in order to not raise taxes. So far, we've been able to be successful in that area, and there's many areas that we're focusing on for this year that I wanted to continue to look at. You know, along the Globe store and our consolidated offices there, that's not the only consolidations we're looking at. And we're looking at different venues and have been. And I have to applaud Commissioner O'Malley for the work that he's been doing to try and do that and save the taxpayers money. Now, although we don't discuss a lot of the issues that we're working on, it's because they're just not ready yet, or they're just not able to happen yet. But I can assure you that there's a lot of things that are going on in addition to the Globe consolidation that we'll be looking at in the future, and I'm sure that it'll be a pleasant experience for the taxpayers, and it'll save them money. Since the resignation of Ron Koljeski that I had received, his policy was to start the, in 2009, he started the judicial sales and upset sales and all that. Those are policies that I never agreed with. That's part of the reason that I'm sitting up here today. And, you know, I would hope that the commissioners would look at an overhaul of the entire way that those policies have been implemented, because I definitely do not agree with them. I know that when I look at the repository list, we have over 1,000 properties just sitting there. since the inception in 2009 of the judicial sale policies. We've also had multiple properties that have been left abandoned and now up for demolition throughout the county, but really mainly throughout the city of Scranton. So I'm not really sure how effective his policies were. And I did ask on multiple occasions for a report on the savings that we've attained through those judicial sales and upset sales, and have never received that. So I'm not sure how effective that program actually was, other than to take properties off of homeowners. And the last resort should always be loss of property. I don't even believe in the last resort. I don't think anyone should ever lose their property due to a tax, period. And that's just the way I feel on it. Reassessment has, again, come up in the Scranton Times. And it's interesting that they claim that our wording of the referendum was to trick anyone, because, I looked into this because I was hearing about how we already had a reassessment somewhere in the 80s or something to that effect, and I was curious to find out exactly what that was about, and Chief of Staff Wallace helped me out with that. And I called down to voter registration, and I received a copy of that referendum that was written on the ballot. And it's interesting why they would think somebody was trying to trick them, because I'll tell you what, this referendum definitely did. Initially, it's going to take me a minute to get through this paperwork just so you understand it. Referendum was placed on the ballot on November 2nd, 1982. The referendum was in regards to the library, and it passed with the yes vote of 27,785 to no votes of 22,471. Shall a special 2 1/2 mill tax be levied beyond limits set by Lackawanna County Home Rule to be used exclusively for operations and maintenance of a county library system in Lackawanna County? So it did pass with a majority vote, and then after that, we had another referendum put in after Commissioner Corcoran, I believe, wasn't it, Andy, came in? Now, you saw the two different numbers for that referendum. Here we have the above referendum was put on the ballot asking voters to reduce the library tax. The referendum passed with the yes vote of 21,089 votes and no votes 3638. Well, the no votes were pretty smart because they understood the actual referendum, what it said. The referendum, I have a copy of it, says, shall the Lackawanna County library tax be reduced from 2.5 mils to 0.875 mils to reflect a change in the predetermined ratio from 35% to 100% of actual value and be correspondingly adjusted to any future change in assessment ratio. And this is exactly why they figure they can just get away with saying that they're confusing, because obviously people took this to mean they were getting a tax cut, when in fact they were getting an increase. And the vote totals show that it was 21,000 people voted yes, thinking they were getting a tax cut, when in actuality, just because the millage goes down doesn't mean you're getting a tax cut. And that's why I went around the county and explained this in regards to reassessment, because the county can only collect the same amount during a reassessment that they did prior to. So some people will have their millage go down, and well, everybody's millage will go down, but it doesn't mean, it doesn't reflect a tax decrease. I did pull the numbers as well from that millage change. So the section 1, I'll read that. A tax be and the same is hereby levied on all property with the said county subject to taxation for county purposes for the fiscal year 1985 as follows. Tax rate for general county purposes, the sum of 25.850625 mils on each dollar of assessed valuation, or the sum of 258.50625 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation For debt purposes, the sum of 3.09 mils on each dollar of assessed valuation, for the sum of 30.9 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation for purposes of the county library system, the sum of 2 and 50 hundredths mils on each dollar of assessed valuation for the sum of 25 cents on each $100 of assessed valuation. Total millage for all purposes, the sum of 31.44. The amount of money brought in prior to and after reflects the fact prior to on a value total levy was 372,000 or $1,300,000. Valuation at 25.850625 mils. Total levy after that was 1,082,508, and then that was at 9.54721. And I know nobody understands anything I just said, but I'm going to have copies for that for anyone that wants to talk to me about it, because yes, taxes are confusing, millages are confusing, and that's, I think, done on purpose. Therefore, what I'm doing is petitioning our state to change the tax law, because I think that this property tax law is flawed. There's multiple areas it needs to be fixed. And, you know, interesting enough, Mr. Koljeski sat before a board of Democrat representatives and basically said the same thing I've been saying all along, that people that have owned their properties for a long time were going to be harmed, which is more so the elderly. And I'm glad that ECTV does the work that they do, because otherwise I would never heard those comments made on TV when I saw them. And I believe that we did the right thing, and regardless of the way the vote came out, I was voting no on reassessment, and that is something that just seems to be lost in the wind every time there's a report on it. I campaigned against reassessment. I worked against reassessment. I would never vote for reassessment. I tried to get a vote to not perform a reassessment, and that's the way I feel about it. I don't agree with it. I think it's a flawed law and it needs to be changed. And I'm never going to change my mind on that, and I don't care what the how that affects my next election. I just don't care about that. What I care about is the taxpayers and how they're going to get hurt in a reassessment, and no one is ever going to change my mind on that. In regards to taxes and in other areas that we're working on in the county, starting salaries are a good way to try and maintain and lower costs through attrition of those that leave their employment at the county. It's been something I have been requesting from the day I found out that rather than use starting salaries, the county maintains the salary of the person that left when hiring a replacement, rather than use it as a baseline for starting salaries, with the option of increasing the amount for an applicant's experience and qualifications. I do appreciate the fact that Commissioner O'Malley is working with me on that. I know that Commissioner Notarianni has been made aware of it. I'm not sure what his decision is on it, but I would hope that we can get some of those starting salaries listed. I've been requesting them for 2 years, and I really would like to get a copy of those, and I'm bringing it out because of that, for that purpose. I already reviewed the Scranton City Council issue, so I have to take that off. And as I said on the Mr. Shrebro's issues, the last area I want to talk about is that pipe is a safety issue. Now, I don't know if that's something we would be addressing in regards to some child getting in there and crawling. I don't even know where that goes. It's not covered with the netting, nothing. There's a big drainage spot right in front of that. It's much bigger than it looks on that. So just so you're aware of that. I really think that something needs to be done with that. I'm not sure what, but if there's anything we could do about that, that would be great. Also, in regards to issues that came out with the district attorney's office recently, for some reason, it's been assumed that I guess because it was stated the commissioners were not aware of a written agreement. I was fully aware of that. It's not an agreement of that. I was fully aware of the fact that that conversation had taken place with the DA and the previous administration. I didn't agree with it. I spoke to District Attorney Shane Scanlon at the time, and I also spoke with Andy Jarbold to make sure that it was actually something that was a discussion. And I did vote to honor that only for the 2017 budget, and only because the DA's office cut $70,000 out of their budget by not approving. They kept vacancies vacant, and that was the agreement. There was no such arrangement made this year. As a matter of fact, I asked for cuts across the board, and there wasn't any provided. Well, a few offices did provide it, and the 3 commissioners did do a 5% cut in our budget. So that's the reason that I could not honor that this year. That's in the commissioner's office is the 5%. Yes, commissioner's office. Yes, we did. So in regards to the district attorney's office and the current district attorney, if they are willing to do what the previous, well, I guess the outgoing DA, Shane Scanlon, didn't do for this 2018 budget, then I would be willing to look at that and honor that agreement. But I can't unless that's done. And everybody knows that I will continue to look for savings, and that is the way I am working here as a commissioner. Otherwise, I won't vote for it. So the Scranton Times did not call me for my comments on it. I didn't get, I did not get any calls. The headline, I guess what it stated, Jeff, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it said something to the effect that the county commissioners won't abide by something because it wasn't in writing. That might be what was a general statement that went out, but you never called me to ask me my opinion on that or what my thoughts were, and if you had, I would have told you that previously there were savings listed for $70,000 in salaries, and that's why I agreed to honor that the previous year and the previous budget. And the minutes reflect that. If you would like to see them, that's fine with me. I have a lot more, but I'll be here for another half hour, and I think I've given the media enough to write about. So to be continued next time. Marie, thank you for coming in, and I do agree. I apologize for not asking the controller, because I did have a note. Yes, these are approved and they're okay. So I did, Lena, my secretary, did write it down, so I will make sure I don't forget that. As for the... the
meeting's not over, so you can't ask. You're okay.
Yeah. As for the issue on the stone improvements...
Kevin, do we ever get a request for... Do we get any type of bids on that to see what the...
We're going to be issuing the RFP on February 2nd.
Okay. There we go. So
oh, okay.
Yeah. So then I get throw some numbers to see what it'll cost to fix all that.
But her question isn't if we're going to get the RFP. Her question is if we're going to revise it to state Jesus Christ as the author, and of that specific. Which verse was it, Marie? Do you remember? 316 or? I'll get it off you another time. Okay, I'll look it up because that was the question. So. I think that's something that we need to look at, because if it's accurate, then it's accurate, and it needs to be accurate. So could you stay and let me know which one it is after the meeting, and I'll make sure I look into that. I know that there's more, but I'm forgetting it. I have so much that I got bogged down. To be continued. Thank you so much for everyone and all the work that you've done. I look forward to working with my commissioners this year to keeping our budget low so that there is no tax increase again next year.
Be working hard.
Yeah, and I do know that there's a lot of different projects that we're working on, and I appreciate the work that you've been doing so far. And oh, hooray on the $1 million!
Yeah.
Congratulations, and congratulations to our county for that going towards the Globe. And you know, that was a good deal. Thank you.
Commissioner Notarianni?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Marie, I'm gonna reach out to Floyd to find out about the hub test again, see what to talk to him about it.
Do you know the answer on the other, though, whether or not you can have each property?
You know what? I'm going to ask our solicitor. Could you?
Does John knows?
Joe will answer it.
John could answer that.
Go ahead, John.
I did have this discussion with John Foley, and there are numerous, but it's not on the whole building. I know at the University of Scranton, there's a fast food place up in their main student thing, and that's taxable, and there's some other things that are taxable, but I certainly think it would be a good idea to talk to him and find out about some other areas. You can tax separately those items that are profit within a nonprofit institution, and some of them are with the university tax. I just don't know which specific. I don't know if Lavish is. I haven't asked him about that one.
Okay, but also, what about isn't each property supposed to have a separate
PIN number. PIN number, right?
Yeah.
That one that was in today with those convenience stores, anyway, I can't remember the name of the man who sold them. But in the case of the Scranton, there are 3 parcels in 3 different parts of the city, and it only has 1 PIN number assigned to it.
For 3 different properties.
At all.
They have to have, each one has to.
I would think wrong. For some reason, every parcel would generally have their own separate PIN number. And if a larger parcel was subdivided, then they would get a new PIN number. So generally, there would be a separate PIN number. I don't know. I mean, if you can get a document you're looking at, I don't know what it is. I'm just imagining maybe
As I
they.
say, I would have copied it, but I wasn't willing to pay $5. I think I've already paid.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's not us. That's her office. She's elected. She could do that. Correct?
But I would indicate to you, Commissioner, that I did call her after I saw the fee schedule, and I asked her, did you investigate other counties? And she said she would prepare a spreadsheet showing exactly what other counties charged, so as to how she came up with the number. She did indicate that some counties charge a minute rate for use of it, but I thought that would be helpful for the commissioners in case there were questions, and I don't think we received it yet, but she said she would get that to the commissioners, so you would have some information as to how these rates were determined.
Yeah, I mean, because we didn't do it. We didn't have anything to do with that.
That was not implemented by us. That was implemented directly by the Recorder of Deeds office.
Yeah, I want to make sure that the Scranton Times understands that. We did not implement that fee. That was solely on the Recorder of Deeds office, and we didn't even know about it.
I would indicate, though, that the vast majority, if not all the other counties that have electronic...
Speaking to John.
Charge, I would indicate that all of the other ones charge. The question in this case, was it reasonable, and that's why I'd asked her for the information.
Do you know what she's charging for?
She's charging for downloads of documents off the site that they have, the electronic site.
How do you charge for that?
Well, I mean, every other county does charge for it, because it's a system you put it, like if you go there and get copies, they charge you for the copies if you go there.
Right.
Okay, for the longest time, the Recorders wasn't charging for downloading those copies, and now I think she's trying to do what other counties have been doing, Recorder of Deeds, and just charging for it, okay? But she's supposed to send you over some information.
She did notify us that she was going to do it too, Commissioner.
Oh, I'm sorry, all right.
She did notify us that she was going to initiate the charge, and also out of fairness to the Recorder of Deeds, that money is turned over to Lackawanna County, not retained by the Recorder of Deeds office.
Well, she's still implementing it.
I just want to make certain that, no, I understand that. But it's not, it's the money, it will be turned over to the county.
Okay.
Okay. I'd like to thank the Central Labor Union for their letters that they sent to the governor requesting the RCAP for us. I'd like to personally, on behalf of the Board of Commissioners, thank Governor Wolf, Senator Blake, who carried the ball. You know, he brought it home. He brought the bacon home. Representative Flynn, who goes right through his district. This was something we really needed, and it's going to be helpful. And this is, like you said, this project is such a great project, and it really, like, for the state to give us, the Commonwealth to give us $1 million grant, it really is the 214,000 citizens. It really is their building, not rental properties, not leases. It's their central government center. They're going to be able to do one-stop shopping. They're going to have access by bus. We have bike racks outside. It's really going to be great. And I'd just like to thank everyone that's helped out, our administration, our Board of Commissioners, everyone that's been involved. Also, I'd like to just bring up that we have free sleigh riding in McDade Park. So anybody who wants to go sleigh riding, please go back to McDade Park. It's free, absolutely free. And last but not least, I'd like to just wish everyone a happy and safe Martin Luther King Day, and keep Martin Luther King in your thoughts and prayers. He really cared about our country and our citizens and everyone. So please keep him in mind this coming weekend. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
You didn't,
Thank
you
you,
didn't ask
everyone.
Commissioner Notarianni. He's absent. I don't know how